two, three.
Boom, baby. Let's go. Happy winning on Wednesday. What is going on, Insurance Syndicate? I don't know if you can tell, but my new little intro just gets me so freaking hype. I love starting my day, and I love starting a live show just watching Kobe do Kobe things. So, again, happy winning on Wednesday. Start dropping those weekly wins in the comments. Also, let me know that you can hear and see me. I see a bunch of you tuning in. What's up, Medicare Misty? Spoke in Canada. Okay, I have to bring this up. Misty, I'm speaking specifically to you because I was looking at your Facebook. Yo, homegirl had wolves like hanging out around her house in Canada and was taking pictures, and they're like all up on the glass and like on the porch. And I was just like, Misty, don't go outside. You have wolves outside of your house in Canada. But I said if there was one way I was going to die, I think if I took a step outside in the snow in Canada and got taken out by a wolf, that would be something that I would be okay with. Total squirrel there, guys. But what's up to everybody tuning in? Real quick before we get going, as always, a shout out to the main sponsor of the show, Viva Virtual Solutions. You can see Lily Davies there in the comments. Just everything she does to help us moderate the group, as well as publish to our TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, clips, shorts, reels, everything she does for our special guest. And we've got a great one for you guys here this morning. It's not his first time here on the show either. But again, huge shout out to Viva. Shout out to Rob Lopez, who is their CEO and founder. They just do amazing things on the virtual assistant side of things within an insurance agency. They come pre-trained on systems, on just, again, insurance kind of general information. So have nothing but amazing things to say about Viva. They've been a preferred vendor here within the group and the main sponsor of the show for well over a year now, almost probably 2 years now. So if you are in the market for a virtual assistant, that, or again, maybe you're just not getting the most out of your current situation, highly, highly, highly recommend reaching out to Viva Virtual Solutions. All right, so that is the main sponsor of the show, and you guys know what time it is, though. It's winning on Wednesday. It's the peak of the week, y'all, but we want to start dropping those weekly wins in the comments. We want to be able to celebrate you. I don't care how big or how small. Drop those weekly wins in the comments. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. My weekly win, man, I've got a lot. I was just talking. You guys can see Victor's getting ready to get on the show. I was talking to him backstage. And I was like, dude, it has just been a kickstart to the freaking year. I would say my weekly win yesterday, some of you guys may have been following me. I have a data company now called Policy Pixel, and I won't get into what that is, but we have just crazy intent data and data enrichment and identity resolution, yada, yada, yada. We can talk about that maybe on another show, but we just pitched our biggest deal yesterday. It's a $100,000 contract for 90 days. I'm not going to bring up who we pitched or the company that we're going to be working with on something just because I'm not allowed to. But that is definitely my weekly win. It's a $100,000 deal. And so, again, I sell franchises and stuff. I've asked people for $30,000, but not $100,000 just for a 90-day trial period, basically is what it is. But we're very confident in what we're going to be able to pull off, and that could eventually and potentially turn into some multi-million-dollar deals. So that is definitely my weekly win. But, again, drop them in the comments. I don't care how big or how small. I see you super tuned in, Medicare Misty. Thank you for hopping on here. What's up, Josh? I see you, David. What's up? Again, drop those weekly wins in the comments. Even if you're catching the replay, we will come back and celebrate you. But without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on our special guest. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for years in the industry, and just everything he's doing to help insurance agents when it comes to their marketing and becoming known, and even just driving leads to your agency. He's one of the best in the biz. Victor Gonzalez, what's going on, my man? How are you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. Excited to be back. Love doing the show.
It's been a hot. I was thinking, and of course, everybody, I have to give a shout out to Victor. I hit him up yesterday, and this is why I love Victor. He's like, well, let me just move some things around. I'd love to hop on. So short notice turnaround. Thank you for being here, man. But yeah, dude, I always I love chopping it up with you. And I was looking, I was like, damn, because I saw the memories from the digital growth workshop that we ran a few years ago here in Austin. And I was like, man, when was the last time I actually had Victor on the show? So again, thank you for being here, man. Real quick, for anybody that doesn't know Victor, obviously you've been around the industry. You've been probably in the insurance syndicate since the first day of its creation, but 30,000 foot overview, who's Victor? And then ultimately share a weekly win with us.
Yeah. Been in insurance for actually this month makes, I think, 12 years. So I've been in insurance for 12 years, started at State Farm.
12 years. Jeez.
Yeah. Time flies, man.
Mm-hmm.
Still actively licensed. So, yeah, worked for mega State Farm agency, mega Allstate agency, another mega Allstate agency, opened my own agency, sold that in December of 21. And then started Clickrush marketing in January of 22. And I've been doing that ever since, helping agents out, and having a lot of fun with it. It's a good 4 years it's been since we opened up. So we're coming up on just past 4 years open with Clickrush. So it's been exciting times.
Isn't that crazy? 4 years you started Clickrush, bro. I remember when you first freaking started it, man. That's so wild. I already have a question for you, but real quick, what's a weekly win for you?
Dude, the Mets. We got Bo Bichette and we just got Luis Robert Jr. today. Like, dude, that's my weekly win.
How did I know? You're wearing your gear. I was like, oh, he's geared up today for the show.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
No. A weekly win, man. We've had our best month. We're only, this is week 3 of the month, and this is the best month we've had in 4 years for Clickrush. So, I've got a coach that I work with that's marketing specific, and he's really been pushing us to really like get in front of more people and have more appointments. And I mean, that's what we should be doing anyways, but we started putting like hard numbers down of what we need based on closing rates. And I just started taking his advice, as any good student should do with a coach. And it's already turning into a really, really good month for us. So I'd definitely say that's the win. And then obviously as a diehard Mets fan, I've suffered enough for 37 years. It's a nice week. It's a nice week.
Any other Mets fans want to celebrate in the comments, feel free to do so. I'm sure Victor will circle back around and celebrate you with you as well. What's up, Ollie? Good to see you on here, man. What's up, Joe? I see you tuning in. Thanks, everybody, again, for tuning in. Victor, dude, first question for you. First thing that came to my mind when I heard you kind of just going through your 30,000-foot overview, how do you like it on that side of things, working with an insurance, coming from being an agent, working with people that at one point in time were sitting in your seat? How do you like sitting on the other side of things, and kind of what are some of the things that I guess maybe you took as an agent over there, but at the same time, it is a totally different ballgame versus actually selling the product, right?
Yeah. Well, I think what makes it interesting is that there's not a lot of friction in those calls, because I can relate to almost every agent that I talk with, because I've sat in that seat. You know what I mean? I've been through building an agency from scratch. I've worked with mega agencies as a manager, as a sales rep, setting appointments. Like, I've done everything A through Z in the industry, working with agencies of all sizes, including my own. So I've been through like every stage of the process. I've seen agencies that spend $50,000 a month, because I worked as a sales manager and as a sales rep for an agency doing $50,000 a month in leads. I've generated leads for myself as an agency owner. Like, my whole business is predicated on helping agents kind of like build their own systems in their agencies so they could take back control and kind of just build. I think the main issue, right, and you can probably attest to this, is we see agencies who rely on like one lead source, and then they have no other levers to pull. And so for me, you should have multiple different levers that you can pull from, whether it's having organic leads that come in, referral leads that come in, your own Facebook ads that you can scale or pull back on, Google ads that drive calls that you can add to or pull back on when your team is, either too busy or not busy enough. You should be able to purchase leads from the EverQuotes, the Quote Wizards, the Hometown Quotes, and all those other, the Smart Financials and all those lead vendors. They should be a kind of like a peg in the system, not the entire system for you, right? Yeah. So it's nice to just be able to have conversations with agents and just kind of let them know that, like, I'm coming from a place where, like, I understand where you are in your process for the most part. it's a little bit different now because there's some agencies that still hit me with stuff where I'm like, okay, I haven't been through that part yet. Like I spoke with an agency yesterday that's like almost completely reliant on like just automating the entire agency. And I'm like, haven't ran into that one. So I can't really relate to it, but
Right.
you know, at least we understand what you're trying to accomplish. You know, they wanted to drive calls, but they have an AI bot that just answers everything. I can't sit here and say that's a great idea because I have no idea if driving live calls to a bot
AI.
is going to be worth, you know, if you can count on it to convert business for you.
Right.
I just don't know. I'm not the one that built the bot, you know, and I don't know how it's going to operate. If you want to test it, we can, but I'm not going to talk from a place of experience because I haven't experienced that. So it's just interesting, right? And then every agency is built different. Every agency has different goals, different ways that they're trying to build their agency. So it's nice because like I've seen most of it, you know, but for the ones that I haven't, it's nice to be able to creatively talk about what they can do to kind of add on to what they're already doing. And also on their side, it's usually really nice to talk to me, not trying to pat myself on the back, but like it's nice to know that like from an agency standpoint that the marketer that you're talking to has been in that job and understands how to build an agency also, and has been around successful agencies and has done it. You know, I'm not, you know, some freelancer from the Philippines or from Pakistan or from India, you know, who doesn't know insurance. And I'm just telling you, I could get you leads for $2 a piece. It's not realistic. And like, obviously they know insurance. So, you know, I hope that answers your question. If
No, 100%. I think, and I got another question for you. It's funny though. I always, just sitting in the seat that I'm sitting in when, you know, you have reps like telling you to push a product or to sell a product, right? And not to say most of our reps now are just, they're awesome. We love them. So if you're watching this, I'm not talking about you. But there are some reps, and I'm sure other people can attest to this. Drop it in the comments if you've sat in this seat as well, where it's very easy to tell that rep has never done it before. It's like, bro, you just got this corporate job, didn't you? And you've never actually been an insurance agent. And I think that is so important, again, for people to understand, like, you know, why work with somebody trying to achieve, you know, what you're trying to achieve if they haven't worked or at least had at some point in time the same or relatively the same goals as you do as the agency, right? I think, again, I mean, pat yourself on the back because I think that's one of your levers, right? Where it's like, look, dude, I mean, this guy obviously can barely even speak English. I'm over here like, dude, I've run my own agencies. I've worked in some of the best agencies in the country. I mean, there's probably so much other guidance that you can implement, you know, outside of obviously just driving the calls and everything else that you're doing with SEO and Google and all that stuff. So, so I guess my first question, right? And I'm going to reframe my question because I was going to ask you, like, what are the biggest problems you're seeing? But what I actually want to ask you is, and even thinking of maybe some of your top clients and agencies that you work with, what are the top agencies doing that you have worked with or are seeing? And I think, again, instead of asking what's wrong with agents, let's ask what are you seeing that's really good, like the best agency in their processes. And I think anybody can learn probably better from that versus like telling them that they're wrong.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think for every single successful agency I've ever worked with, whether it's on the marketing side or working with personally, as a producer, as a manager, anything, every single successful agency already has processes in place and they have a system built out that works. And so the agencies that struggle the most are almost always the ones that have no idea where to start. And so they just think throwing money at leads is going to solve all their problems. And it doesn't. Because if you can't sell or you don't have processes in place to be able to do anything with those leads, then that's when you start seeing people who complain about quality leads, right? And what I like to say is like a lead is qualified before they ever talk to you. And what I mean by that is like when you have systems in place to be able to have a lead come in and there's already a trajectory of where they're going to go, it makes the process for every single person involved in that like trajectory to have a significantly easier conversation and experience throughout that entire process. And so when I see successful agencies, they have CRMs built out that have automations for emails and texts, because we all know speed to contact is important. They have people who are dedicated to talking to those leads at specific talk points, whether it's like within 3 minutes of a lead coming in. They have different ads or different lead types and sources that are coming in. They know who to route those leads to. So like one thing I'm working on with an agency that I coach with on right now, right? This is not even marketing side. This is like consulting side. One of the things that we're working on is we have different lead sources that come in for the team. Okay. And we have, I think right now we're at 10 sales reps on the team. And we do about 360 to 400K a month in premium. And so what we're trying to do is we look at all the team members, what they are really, really good at, closing percentage wise, referral partners, specific lead sources, cross-selling off the book, live transfers, building their own leads. We look at all the different ways that sales are generated. And then we say, okay, how can we take what we're already doing and just reallocate each of those sources directly to the people that do best with it? Yep. So if you suck at closing internet leads, we're just not going to send you internet leads. Like, don't worry about it. If we could get you to 40, 50 items a month on referrals and cross-sells, then that's what we're going to do. Now, if you're someone who like is terrible at maintaining referral partners and LOs and things like that, realtor partnerships, then guess what? We're not going to hold you accountable to that. We're going to try to drive more leads to you through live transfers, through outbound dials, things like that. And if there's a specific lead source that you do better with than another one, then we're going to try to drive those leads to you. So we're looking at like where all the closing percentages are, and we're trying to be intelligent about how we route leads to you. Yep. And so those are systems that we're actively like building out to put people in the best position to succeed. A lot of agencies don't do that. They don't track. You have to be able to track so important. And it's a pain in the ass to do. Like, don't get me wrong. I know it's a lot. And when you're running your own agency, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not easy work. It's a lot of work to like build those out, track it accurately, and do it every single day nonstop. But at the end of the day, it's going to drive down your lead costs. It's going to increase your sales. It's going to give you more money to allocate towards resources to grow your team, whether it's more hires, whether it's more leads that you're purchasing. Like, it just makes everything better. But you have to have those systems in place in order to like really maximize what you have in front of you.
Right. And it keeps your people happy too. Nobody wants to get served a lead that they hate, And it's like, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a standard there at some point where it's like, okay, look, like it's obviously not at some point in time. It's like, all right, man, you need to kind of like work on your talk path a little bit, right? Like we're still going to send you some, but I think that goes back to, again, you guys heard him talking about it to start the show, the levers. They have multiple levers, right? There's multiple, again, lead sources and things that are coming in. And then as long as you're tracking those, I think that is so important, and people miss it. Again, it is the painstaking, like, oh my gosh, I really got to sit down and go through all of this. And then, but I remember in my Allstate days, for whatever reason, man, I loved the freaking EverQuote data leads, bro. It was like, you just give me, set my filters right. And I knew, again, for the most part, like this is kind of what was coming over to me, right? And it's like, not to say that we didn't have all the live transfers coming in from like the data lot. And I mean, we had so many different freaking kind of call vendors at that point in time, which I do want to ask you about, just kind of general landscape of what you're seeing in that space. But I remember for me, it was like, dude, y'all can take the hot live transfers from people clicking on giveaway ads. I'm just going to take these data leads where, again, I got to work them, right? It may be, 8 to 10 to 12 touches on them. But dude, my closing rate was through the freaking roof, and it was way less. I don't know if I would call it stressful because I was managing the team at that time too, but it was a little bit less stressful because I'm quoting and working and then calling on them, right? It wasn't, I'm just constantly having to pick up the phone and work with these people and one call close them. And everybody's got their different strategies, right? But the lead source is so freaking important. And I think that also too, nobody's going to sell like Joe, right? Nobody's going to sell like Victor, and we all operate differently, even though maybe we have that common goal. And again, that standard that we have in place. Like maybe, again, there's nothing wrong with, my guy Todd being better on this side of things. And then, Mark or Kim or Kevin they're better on this side of things. And really, I guess, and maybe you could, add some of your 2 cents on this. It kind of makes sense to start doing that, because if you go from, just an agent, if you're an individual, right, and then you go to an agency, the next step up from the agency is kind of what I like to look of as like an organization. where there's divisions within an organization, right? So like, hey, here's this team, here's this team, here's this team. And if you start segmenting that now, you can actually breed and build managers to then ultimately, when you become an organization, if that's what you desire, then you have people that can run said divisions in your agency. Which I'm pretty sure I know the agency that you're referencing too, and they're freaking awesome, and they're captive too, doing that amount of sales, which is just wild. It's so impressive. What have you seen as far as like the divisions? Do you kind of agree with that? What are you seeing in some of the agencies that you're working with when it comes to, I guess, for the lack of a better term, delegation, right?
That's exactly what it is. And you know, I said that it drives down your lead costs. It creates you're saving money by segmenting and playing to people's like to what they're good at. And at the end of the day, like there's something called opportunity cost. And so if you have people who aren't good at certain types of activities and you don't have systems in place to keep them away from the activities that they're not good at, the cost of a lead is going to be wasted on someone who's not good at that. So segmenting to people's strengths is a positive. It's a net positive for an agency if done right. It starts with the tracking, but yeah, organizations is like the best way to do it. And if you look at any large agency, like almost all of them are always built into organizations where they have dedicated, you know, they have a referral partners, like a person dedicated to creating referral partnerships, which is also something we're working on doing and building out there. And then you have people who take those leads that come from it, and that person who creates the partnerships manages those relationships with those partners so that anyone who's under is like, if they leave, you always have that same point of connection who is creating and maintaining those relationships so you don't lose a lender if someone on the team leaves. And so, yeah, it just works better that way, you know? So I'm definitely a strong proponent of like building that out as your agency grows.
Absolutely. Real quick, and then I do want to get into like Clickrush specific type things. For me, shamelessly, like personally, I want to know and just kind of catch up with you a little bit, but then also, you know, highlight to the members everything that you're doing to help agencies. But real quick, just general, I don't know, kind of lead landscape. You know me, right? I come from leads from my Allstate days. I guess from one of my Allstate agencies, I mean, we were spending $126,000 a month on leads, right? But it made sense because of the comp model, blah, blah, blah. Once I went independent, dude, I've never really bought leads. But I'm getting back into that space again as whether it's my internal agency or just whether the actual company itself grows, and we have agents that want to buy leads, right? But just maybe break down for somebody who's not from the lead space, thinking about getting into the lead space, but also I think it's important just to have a general understanding of the lead, again, for the lack of a better term here, landscape. What are you seeing out there, right? Like, I mean, I remember for me, like on the live calls, it was a bidding war, you know, where depending on where people wanted to buy leads, I mean, it's sometimes we would buy a home lead, you know, for $80 freaking dollars. Or is it like, what are the main sources you're seeing? Is it back to Google? Is it the, you know, kind of more the content education side of things on YouTube? Like, I know so much of this landscape has changed. And to your point too, you were talking about AI and things like that too, which I'm sure have impacted it. But just the general landscape? What are you seeing out there? What are maybe some tips and tricks that you would, you know, tell people to look out for if they're starting to kind of get into this? Hey, I'm going to buy some of this stuff.
Yeah. So it's a good question. It's a loaded question is what it is. So I think you can never go wrong with the main lead vendors. And the reason why is because they own so much of the market, like the EverQuotes, the Quote Wizards, they sell leads to each other, by the way. So most people don't even know that, right? But I said this like 2 years ago. Okay, so just to give you a timeline on it, I probably have 4 or 5 videos and like 10 posts from like 2 years ago calling this, saying that EverQuote and Quote Wizard was going to start doing what we do at Clickrush, what we've been doing for 4 years.
Right.
Okay, so 2 years ago we called it. Now they're starting to do that and they're trying to offer it, and it's not going to work at the scale in which we do it. And we have other, you know, there's other companies out there that do what we do as well. Actually, only one that I know about, which is Quotely, and I'll shout them out because I have no problem with Frank. Love Frank.
Yeah.
But when I'm looking at the landscape of marketing, if you're looking to purchase a lead and you just need something fast to keep your team busy for the day or for a couple days, not to be your main source, but just to kind of fill in the gaps, EverQuote and Quote Wizard are going to be the best places to do it because they have hundreds of thousands of websites that have been
Right.
built over the last 15 years, 20 years, and they essentially make up the majority of traffic for people looking for car and home insurance leads through website forms online.
Mhm. Mhm.
You can't compete with that. Okay. So it's the easiest, quickest way to get leads. The problem is that's a never ending cycle of burning cash because you rely on their systems. So,
Right.
but it's a good place to start. Now, you also know I've done this show so many times already over the years. Never buy exclusive leads. And I have trainings and stuff on like how to turn a shared lead into an exclusive lead so you can buy it at a shared price, but make it exclusive to you.
Mhm.
Like I have trainings on that. So if you go on my YouTube and like just search through the videos, you'll find a bunch of videos on that. Right. So that's a good place to start. The hot topic lead generation in marketing right now is like being referred or recommended on ChatGPT. Like that's like the one that
Mm.
everyone's talking about. And it is like, there's always the next hot thing that everyone's always crazy about. But to get recommended on ChatGPT, it's fairly simple from what you need to do, but it's
Mm.
not an overnight thing. And
'Kay.
so, when all this AI stuff, Google AI overviews, ChatGPT, all these generative and search, AI, like when all that started really getting hot last year, people put too much like emphasis on it and forgot that like the basics of SEO and marketing is what gets you into ChatGPT.
Right.
So it's literally like in order for you to be recommended by ChatGPT, you need to be recommended online through
Yep.
testimonials. You need to be looked at as an educational like source, someone who is like a validated source that's been mentioned in press releases, that's been mentioned in positive reviews throughout multiple platforms, right? Not just Google reviews, but also on Yelp, on Trustpilot, on Better Business Bureau, wherever. As
Mhm.
many places as you could get positive reviews for, that's where you need to be. And then you need to be pumping out content that is specific. So like not like, hey, here's an article on car insurance that I wrote today, and then I'm never gonna write any other articles ever again. It's like, no, dude, Joe Camper is in Austin, Texas. Joe Camper is gonna write an article on like comprehensive coverage and the 5 things that it covers, the 5 most important things that comprehensive coverage covers in Austin, Texas. So that when someone in Austin, Texas is looking for that
Yeah.
one very niche thing,
Mhm.
you're looked at as a person of authority on that topic, right? And so that's what you want to be. You want to speak from like authoritative perspective, and you want to pump out articles that are very, very specific to topics, not general topics, specific topics.
Right.
Because like it's almost like micro branding, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't need to be Nike. You just need to be like the local mom and pop shop that like everyone loves.
Makes sense too, because it's like if I were to do just car insurance, I mean, how many other freaking people are out there
Everyone.
selling car insurance, right? It's like, well, no, but if we're breaking down those specific coverages and we have 5 different segments of it, right? And it's specific to my demographic and my location, it makes so much sense. It's funny. I thought, dude, I was like, how the hell do you get referred by ChatGPT? I was like, man, it's about to be some crazy. And Victor's like, nah, bro, you got to be, not a secret agent. You got to be present on the platforms that we already have and have been in front of us for who knows how long, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking it was got to be like a prompt or something. It's like, nah, bro, you just got to be found.
You just
Uh,
have to you just gotta be consistent with it. It's like anything else, man. Like we overcomplicate it. And the thing is like there's not that many you're not gonna like your business isn't gonna change because Google starts because ChatGPT starts recommending you.
right.
Like there still has to be search volume. And if
Mhm.
your entire play is like, I want to be ranked on ChatGPT, like it's not gonna make a difference in your business because there isn't enough of a use force for people searching for things like, you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah, no, I agree.
still
Like, 'cause
very
I'm thinking of me. Like, would I get on ChatGPT and then if they referred me somebody, am I going to instantly click and call that person and talk to them? I don't know if I would be quite there, or even, and I don't know. Maybe again, maybe it's just the way that I use chat, but I'm still, yeah. Like
it's conversational, right?
right.
Like people
Yeah.
use it as a conversational tool, not as a recommended tool. And so like you look at Google AI overviews, that was like the most elementary tool they've ever released. And all it is just scouring the internet for multiple authoritative figures on a specific question. They round it together and then they take their own little overview of what they've read on those 3 or 4 recommendations, and then they put it as an AI overview. Nothing special about it. But how many people read that and then they go to the sources that are in it?
Right.
So it's like you might be one of those 4 sources that they're recommending and plugging at the bottom. But when a consumer is looking at that answer, how many are actually taking that next step to like look through the sources and then go fill out a form or make a phone call? Hardly any. So
Right.
Google is they're forcing themselves to play into the AI game because people are using the internet as a conversational piece to have conversation as opposed to searching for answers or searching for specific services.
Right.
But they're shooting themselves in the foot too because they're forced to, because now people who would normally take a conversion on a website or a recommendation are now just looking at the overview, getting their answer and moving on.
Right.
And so, before, I think the Maps pack on Google used to get like 92% conversion rate, and now it's down to 74.
Wow.
So that's when AI overviews came out, they basically chunked out 20%, 18 to 20% of all conversions just because of overviews.
God, that's a lot. That's
it is a lot, but think about it. They're also kind of like knocking out the people who were never going to convert in the first place.
True.
The conversational piece. So if you could just get your answer from an overview, chances are you weren't looking for anything that you were going to make a conversion on anyway. You're just looking for an answer. So, maybe that answer might have came on your website, and maybe if your website was good at converting visitors, maybe you'd convert a small percentage of those people who do land on it. But I think that it cleaned up, a lot of the people who aren't really searching for anything.
And I even look at that too as, an overview, there's no call to action. There's no true marketing, behind that trying to drive them to the next page or the next part of the workflow or funnel or anything, right? It's like, it's just okay, I'm off. But I do like it's like, well, probably weeded out the people that were just going to waste my time anyways. Real quick, articles. So you're referencing articles. How important is it still to kind of have that blog content, the article?
More important than ever. Okay. More important than ever, because that's
specific to articles, not video. Specific to art, well, probably both, but articles over video, you think is more powerful? Or
they do recommend videos too.
Okay.
So I definitely recommend doing video content, but video content's not for everyone. But articles are still super, super important. Super important. I just started like really diving into articles. I'll tell you right now. I'll give you the exact date. I'm just going to pull up my website. We started like really putting out articles on November 30th.
Okay.
So it's been 2 months.
Yep.
We've put out 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. We put out like 14, 15 articles. Never got recommended on ChatGPT before I put out articles. We've got probably three people who have found us from ChatGPT after we started pumping out articles. And they're very specific, like I posted an article 2 or 3 days ago about ChatGPT now having advertising on the free platforms. Like that's something that's brand new. It's super relevant. People are interested in it, So little things like that, I made one about like making sales training faster by using AI, like Fireflies, which is a service that we use.
Yep.
5 keys to writing an SEO-friendly website article. 10 most important things every business owner should know when they're running Google Ads, right? So just little things like that. We try to keep it very specific about certain topics, just so that like when people are looking for those things, they kind of align with the services that we offer. So if we do get mentioned or sourced or cited, like we have an opportunity to potentially be seen. And so it's been working a little bit, right? Like I said, not anything life-changing. We're not getting 10, 20, recommendations a day, but we also just started, so it's the articles are important. It's important to get your website ranked. It's important because your website's tied to your Google Business Profile. Your Google Business Profile ranks on Google Maps and on Google Search. So you still need those articles for that as well. Right. All those signals tie back to each other. So it's like, you need to be doing it regardless, even if it's not for ChatGPT, for your website to get ranked, for your Google Business Profile to get ranked, like for you to put out content to your community and to your network. Like one article helps you in 10 different places.
Right.
It doesn't take a lot of effort to do that. So
yeah,
definitely
100%.
important.
So let's you're talking specifics, right? Let's get specific with Clickrush. I mean, act like I'm one of those people that found you on ChatGPT, man. What do you guys do, and what's the benefit of Joe working with Clickrush? And obviously, I know what you guys are doing, but just like give a real kind of, again, specific overview of like, this is what Clickrush does, and this is how Victor can help your agency.
Yeah. So, I mean, typically I wouldn't go through everything that we offer because we do offer a lot, but we are an agency. We're a marketing agency that's built by insurance agents to help insurance agents take back marketing into their agencies. And so that can be anywhere from paid advertising for lead forms, paid advertising to generate inbound calls. That could be getting your Google Business Profile ranked on Google Search and Google Maps to generate organic, local, high intent leads. To take that work off your back that is necessary. Kind of like the conversation we were just having, all these, in order to get ranked and to do really well, all these systems talk to each other. Like everything basically operates off Google's back. And so it's important that like the stuff that you're doing all kind of aligns with each other. And so that's what we do. We help you align everything so that they work together, they talk together, and they produce for you. So if you're someone you're an established agency, right? So like if someone finds me, before I talk about my services, like we're never going to start with what we offer. We're going to talk about your agency first. Because I'm not going to sit here and recommend and go through 30 minutes of talking about what we do without knowing what you need first.
Right.
Like I talked to an agency and they already have inbound calls for Google coming in from another company. We're not going to talk about trying to sell that service. If they already have it taken care of and you're happy with them, I'm not even going to talk about it. Just stick with them because it's working for you. And then we'll look at, okay, well, what is it that you do need? Oh, well, we need to fill in another 3 to 5 leads a day. Cool. Are you looking for something that's a long-term fix or are you needing something short-term? Oh, I need something long-term. Cool. Let's work on your Google Business Profile and getting ranked. Let's run a free report for you so you could see where you rank, how many competitors are ranked ahead of you. And then we'll give you a timeline of how long it may take for you to get into that top 5 so you can get that 72% or 74% of the conversions that happen organically on Google Business Profile. And we align our services and service agreements to be in line with how long it would typically take for that service. Now, if you're like, hey, I need to fill this in like now, my team needs leads now. Cool. Let's talk about Facebook ads. If you already have Google driving inbound calls, you have EverQuote, you have Quote Wizard, and you want to own your own system, and that's the only thing that you don't have right now, let's talk about driving inbound leads through forms with Facebook ads. And we do it a little bit different than some companies, but here's what we do. You know, we'll create these ads, we'll create video, we'll edit the video, we'll post the video, we'll create 5 to 7 static images, we'll manage it, we'll create different hooks, different stories, different angles, depending on who your target market is. Like we'll do all these things and then we manage it and maintain it, but you own it. So it's in your system.
So important.
You control it. We just manage it for you and build it.
How important is the freaking ownership part of that, man? I mean, I don't know. Part of me thinks, I know, you're doing a solid for Quote Wizard and EverQuote, but it's like, I mean, at the same time, man, sometimes fast and quick and always the best, right? Where it's like, oh, do I even want to slap that Band-Aid on? Because again, you don't own any of it. And I've sat in that seat too, where I'm like, man, I already know this lead been sold. I can't tell you how many freaking times, right? But again, it's still, I mean, it's making the phone ring. I guess you're getting on the phones, but I don't know. There's so much importance in that ownership when it comes to obviously your marketing, but even just just that internal system and how you can plug and play that versus, I think you referenced it earlier, like you can't really you're stuck on their systems, right? And they're not going to change their freaking systems for you, right? How important is that ownership piece? What would you tell people to be looking out for on that side?
Dude, you don't go into becoming a business owner to let everyone else have control of your stuff. That's the answer. Like the whole reason why Clickrush exists is to answer that problem.
Yeah.
When I started my agency, I was like, I'm coming from an agency that's spending 15 grand a month in leads, and the agency before that was spending 50,000 a month in leads. I don't have $50,000 a month to spend on internet leads. I'm sorry, I don't. I need to build this myself, and I need to cut that middleman out. So how do I do that? And so it's not just, yes, there's a cost associated with having us manage it, and that cost over the short term might be not worth it in some people's eyes compared to just buying a lead and having it delivered immediately. But then you're leaving all the data on the table that comes with those ads, all the rankings that come with those services that are being built out that you still get to own if you decide to cut out the services. We're building it to help you so that you have a data set that's being built. You have complete ownership. Every lead that comes to you is exclusive to you. That's worth the cost of paying a little bit more to own it yourself. And guess what? Like any other advertising, the more you spend and the longer you spend, the lower the costs get over time because things get better. You optimize your ads, you optimize your targeting, your messaging gets clearer, like your rankings get up, go up in systems. So it's like, I'll give you an example. So like our local SEO, we have agencies who come in, they're not ranked anywhere near the top 3, which is where 74% of all conversions happen. So they're not ranked anywhere in the top 3. I'm very transparent that it's going to take a while if you're in the 50s or 60s or 70s in a 5-mile radius to get into the top 3. And so our costs, we give our costs, and it may not make sense to not see results because they're not ranked in the top 3 and paying us for months to get them there. But when they get there and now they're getting 40, 50, we have some agencies that are doing 100 plus calls a month just from Google Business Profile.
Gosh.
So when they come to us and they're ranked in the top 20 or the top 15, and maybe they're getting 10 calls a month.
Yeah.
And paying $1,000 a month for the service might not seem like that. The numbers might not make sense there. But in a year from now, when you're getting 70, 80, 90, 100 plus calls and you're paying $1,000 a month and they're all high intent, exclusive and local to you. And then we're also handling all your review management, your reputation management. We're responding to all the reviews. We're helping you grow your reviews. We're handling all your NAP data on listings and directories. So fixing all the errors those are all trust signals that go back to Google, right? So if your name, address, phone has changed over the years and you haven't changed it on every platform, Google's going to look at that and say, I don't trust you because your address is different on 3 different websites or 5 different websites.
It's good.
We don't know which one's correct and which one isn't. And the thing is, you might have put yourself on 10 different directories, Yelp, Bing, Yahoo, Google, and you might have done it accurately. But I promise you've never updated it if you moved addresses. And also the listings and directories websites that don't ever contact you and they just add people automatically, you don't even know you exist on those. And it's hurting you if you're not updating on those as well. So we go out, we find everywhere that you're listed. If there's any inconsistencies, we get them fixed. And we look for opportunities of where you're not listed and we get you added onto those platforms as well. We're doing that. We're doing press releases. We're doing competitor analysis and removals every week, looking at everyone who's ranked ahead of you. And if anyone has a spam or an inactive listing, we get them removed off Google.
Yeah.
Like these are all the things that we're doing on the local side that like you might not see in the front end, but it's helping you rank in the long term, which is going to help you drive more opportunities. So, but this is where it comes like in our strategy calls, like with clients, we're learning about your agency to see like what makes the most sense. If you're looking for something long term, local SEO is going to be the best route to start with. If you're looking for something, if you like, I had an agency who was like, I don't want inbound calls. I can't handle any calls, but I want more leads. I want Facebook leads. I'm like, that's a first. I rarely ever hear that. People rather just have their phone ring. Just pick it up and talk to someone, right? So like you learn something new, but when you get to talk to agents and kind of see what they need, you can plug and play all the different services that we have that fit what they don't have, So.
How many times do you go into those conversations with agents? I at one point was this agent, right? Where I'm like, this is what I need. And then by the end of the conversation, you're like, dude, you have no idea what you actually need. And like, I know for me, and this was back in like the beginning TCC days. And I was just like, I was talking about like my ideal client and this is where I'm, and then it's like, and then you actually, when I sat down and like broke it down with you, you're like, dude, that's like your worst lead source. Like you don't know what you actually need, man. How
Yeah.
many times do you have those conversations? Because again, there's something beautiful with the amount of information that we have access to, but at the same time, man, it's like over information, and I swear I just see agents swimming in it and drowning in it because it's just almost too much information where they're confusing it, right? Where it's like, dude, this is not at all what you need for your agency. How often do you kind of have those conversations and maybe redirect and pivot with people? Just curious.
Yeah. So I mean, just to kind of validate what you're saying, it happens to all of us. It happens to me included. Like that's why I have a coach, because sometimes I'm staring at numbers all day and I'm missing opportunity costs and things like that he sees right away because he's not in it every day. So it's very easy for him to spot it, where I might be so drowned and entrenched into what I'm doing that I miss it. And this is what I do. Like I am the numbers guy. I like my data. I like to know where everything's going. And even I miss things sometimes. So yes, we do run into that sometimes. But it's almost like the worst is obviously with like brand new agents who are just starting. They don't know what they're doing. And they need, like I said earlier in like when we first started, like they think leads are always the answer to all the problems. And I think also with new agents, we see that because the cost of entry, the barrier to entry into insurance is so low right now that anyone who's like even just an average producer at an agency thinks that they can be an insurance agency owner.
I know.
And so they don't realize everything that comes with being an agency owner. You have to know how to market. You have to have money to spend. You have to be able to develop relationships. You have to have systems in order and places in order. You need to buy your own leads. So if you think you're good at selling leads, guess what? You have to pay for them now. And I guarantee you're going to realize that like your 7% closing rate, your 7% closing rate that you think because you write 25 items at a terrible agency a month, that's not going to cut it as an agency owner. You're going to be drowning. You're going to be out of cash before you even start. So, having those conversations with newer agents, it's nice because you get to kind of give them a dose of like a reality check in a way that's like not demeaning to them.
Yeah.
It's just opening their eyes to what the honest truth is and why. And so I like to go through like not just what we do, but why we do it and how it affects you.
Yep.
And that typically leads to really good conversations where it's like more understanding than attack. No one ever wants to feel attacked on a strategy call when they're trying to learn about services or anything like that. But I think that's what also separates us a little, is that we're qualified to have that conversation. So I would say it happens. It happens sometimes, but most of the time it's with like newer agencies who just kind of have a little bit of like maybe an unrealistic expectation of how they're going to build their agency. Like you'd be surprised at some of the calls I sit on.
Bro,
like, I have a $250 budget a month and I need 50 leads a day. It's like, dude, good luck.
Yeah, trust me. I mean, since Redwood merged and everything, it's like, I've had to really step into, because I was a half owner, right, with Pops, and then it's like, Pops is doing his thing, and it's like, oh shit, like I got to learn this whole other half of how to run this agency. Again, the payroll and just, I mean, all the licensing and the E&O and the bank accounts and just so much that goes into that. Where again, I think Tony talks about this a lot too, where he's like, sometimes I'll put like, look at a picture of the car, and he goes, and the car's just not starting, whatever. And he's like, and I'll get my head so far up underneath the freaking hood that I'm not looking at the whole picture. Therefore, I'm missing what's actually going on with said truck or agency or whatever, right?
Yep.
I want to go back here because I wrote this down, and I think it's a great kind of segment to this. The client journey, like the experience that they have, right? You brought up the word experience. That's exactly how I view it too, because people, they remember how you made them feel, right? And so a lot of that feeling is associated to the experience that they go through before they get to you. My question to you on that is, what's the best experience? And let's use, just for the sake of example, Facebook ads. So I'm a big form guy. So I love form fills, right? how much should you have on a form? Should it all be on one page? Should it be, here's your name, click next. Here's your phone number, click next. I don't know. I've had differing opinions, right? And again, maybe that's because I'm not on the paid side, because I'm on the organic side where, dude, give me all your shit. Like, and I'm not going to quote it unless you give it, because I know if you give me all this, then it makes it go so much faster versus, again, collecting some of the basic information and then going and getting that information myself. But I also understand, I mean, dude, if they get to where they don't have the VIN number for their 5 trucks, I've lost that deal. So I should have made it more simple up front and made that experience, that journey, a little bit easier. Yeah. What's your 2 cents on that? What's the best way to go?
I'll give you the keys right now to success with paid. First off, anything over 5 questions on a paid media form on Facebook is going to lead to like a massive drop in conversions, like over 90%. So really? You're going to lose out on so much opportunity, and your lead cost is going to be so much higher if you put more than 5 questions. And just to also put that into perspective, 3 of those questions are name, address, name, phone number, and email. So you really get 2 questions. So what I like to do is, and this has helped us tremendously. Our show rates on lead form fills, that because we do all like scheduled appointments, like Zoom calls, our show rates are over 88% right now. Like 90%.
Wow.
Which is unreal. It came from 2 changes that we've made. Number 1, we have name, email, phone number. The next 2 questions are usually something that's super relevant to what we're doing. So as an insurance agent, for you, it might be like you create a drop-down question of like, what service are you looking to get quoted, right? Now, if you're doing it from the agency side and you're trying to generate a consumer lead, then you can push people to have in their head that they're going to get a bundled quote with you, which obviously retains better and more premium, better client experience. Mm-hmm. You do that, you put auto, home, life, business, and then you put bundle, and then in parentheses, you put biggest discount.
Yeah.
So that they look at it and they say, I want that. Mm-hmm. So you're already creating the experience that like they're going to want both auto and home, right? And that works almost every single time.
That's good.
Now, after you create that, then what you want to do is you want to use that last question. There's a option to request a date. That should be your 5th question every single time, because it's getting them to select a date and time that they want to be contacted. We all know what Facebook forums, the hardest part about running Facebook forums and why everyone thinks they're bullshit is because sometimes you get bad information, but also you get people who just don't answer the phone ever or respond to emails. Right. And so getting that is the hardest part. So what we do is we put the request date on there. So every single person has to request a date and time that they want. And then we also select the open messenger chat, which is an option. Okay. And so every time a lead form submits, it opens up a conversation in Messenger. And what that does is we use high level internally. And so we can text, we can email, we could WhatsApp chat, and we could Facebook Messenger chat all in the same box on high level. Mm-hmm. So now that we've opened that up, I have automations that go out as soon as a lead form fills that says, hey, just received your lead request. Text message goes out, email goes out, Facebook Messenger. I have 3 different options of contacting you immediately, all going out at once. And it's basically saying, before we send this calendar invite out, please confirm that this date and time is the most accurate for you and still works. And we do that because we're not putting you on the calendar unless you respond to that.
Yep.
And whichever way you respond, whether it's Messenger, whether it's text, whether it's whatever, as long as you respond, we know you're going to show up. So we send the calendar invite after they respond back. We probably get 85%, response rate. There's still a very small percentage, 15% of people who probably don't ever respond back, and they were going to waste our time anyway. So we just move them into the next status and let automations get them at some point in the future. But we open those up and we add them to a calendar invite after we get the response. And that's how we have an 87%, 88% fill rate.
That's insane. That's like, I mean, almost a 90% freaking show rate, bro. Like that's sick nasty, man. And
Dude, and it was just from those 2 changes. It was just
right.
from adding the requested date. You can even put in an option in there for like preferred method of communication where you have them select, like I prefer text, call, email. You always want to get people at where they're at and where they want to be.
Yeah.
Hardly ever is anyone going to say they want to talk on via phone. But if you start in chat in a text message, it'll eventually lead to a phone call, right? You just have to get there. You have to get them where they're at that moment. And so that's why we have all those different options, because we want to have the opportunity to get them on camera first. Like in a Google Meet, we want them to see our faces on our calls.
Yep.
It's a little bit different on the PNC side. Like people aren't going to do that maybe. But if you're trying to meet with agents and you're running ads to recruit agents into Clearview, like you're going to want to Google Meet with them so they could see your face and talk to you and things like that. Nothing wrong with the phone call, but this is going to convert at a much higher rate. So, we do that for life agents. We do that internally for us when we're meeting with insurance agents, and it works really, really well. And the conversations are always super smooth. And the good thing is, like, once they respond, that they're going to show up. Like they've already committed to it. And that the communication's already, that line of communication is open. And that's the most important thing. So it's speed to contact, and then it's giving different options for them to communicate with you. And the fact that we have the automation go out to Facebook Messenger, that's where they fill the form, and their form has already opened up. So if they get it immediately, they're still in that chat. So they're going to respond almost every time on the Facebook Messenger. So open up those chats. If you don't have like Meta Business Suite, go get it. Like you have a lead center in there. Oh, this is the other part. Super, super important.
Okay.
Now we're running Facebook ads. Like their AI is so good now out of nowhere at targeting the right people. So like you need to have good copy, you need to have good video, you need to have good static. I mean, all those things haven't changed, right? You have to talk specifically to the demographic you're trying to talk to, right? It can't just be like a very generalized ad. Talk to specific people and target demographics. AI on Facebook will get you in front of the right people, but if you want it to supercharge how quality the people you're talking to are, in Lead Center in Meta Business Suite, they have their own CRM called Lead Center. They have qualified, not qualified. Every person you talk to that sets an appointment and is a good candidate, you move their assets to qualified. It's going to send the signal back of that person's entire account and everything that Facebook knows about them and says, they think this is a good person. Let's send more people like that. Every time you talk to someone or they don't respond back and, maybe they're not the right candidate, you mark them as not qualified. That will supercharge how well your leads are on Facebook. And that's the part that people always forget about. They always leave that one out. And that helps so much, so much. We used to have like such a wide range of people we would talk to. We'd get a ton of life agents, which at that time we weren't really dealing with. We'd get health agents that we weren't dealing with at the time. We'd get brand new PNC agencies, which like didn't have marketing budget and couldn't afford our services. And then we added those little changes to help with the show rates. And then also with the qualifying and non-qualifying. Every agency we talk to now is like golden, exact type of person we want to talk to.
That's good. I'd never even heard of that. So that's freaking awesome, man. Well, real quick, I know we're top of the hour and I know you got your 10 o'clock call. Real quick, it's my favorite question to ask people now to wrap up the show, and then obviously drop how people can reach out, website, all that good stuff. And I'll come back and get all his contact info in the comments as well, y'all. But my final question to you, Victor, 5 years from now, what do you hope people say about you?
5 years from now, what do I hope people say about me?
Not 10, not 20, not when you're retiring, not next year, but 5 years from now. What do you hope people say about Victor?
2031. I hope that they say that I'm an excellent father. I love my family. I love my kids. And I've helped them along the journey. That's all I could ask for. Right. Yep. I love my children. Like they're my motivation. And I try to treat my clients like family. I love my clients. They help me build the life I want. And so, my journey with them also involves my family. Like at the end of the day, the two intersect. If my family wants to have the life they need, I need to give my clients the experience and the journey that they want. So I want to bring them together. So I hope 5 years from now, I've affected enough lives where like, they've seen the journey I've had with my kids because I share that online, and I hope that, I'm able to also go on their journey as they build their agencies.
Love it, man. I love it. Well, y'all heard it here first. Drop some freaking gold for us here this morning on the Winning on Wednesday show. Thank you, Victor, bro. I appreciate you, man. It's always good to chop it up and get you on a call and provide some value to the agents. Everybody in the comments, we do appreciate you for tuning in. I missed your comment, Casey. He said Carson Beck threw a game-losing interception to lose the national championship. That's a weekly win for everyone. So depending on how you feel about it, that was a crazy game. But again, thank you, Victor. Thank you to all of our listeners. But y'all know, it's the peak of the week, right? It's not time to slow down. It's time to keep the pedal down. And ultimately, we will see you guys next week at 9 a.m. Central. We are here live every single week. So make it a great week, and we'll see you guys later. All right.